Hello and welcome to the video for Lab 2 in the CE8 lab courses. This week I'm going to be posting videos that discuss auto leveling as well as auto levels and leveling staffs, as well as how to perform what's called the PEG test. The PEG test is a test that we can use to see if our auto level is properly calibrated and is actually giving us accurate measurements. So, first, what we do for the PEG test is we set up our auto level on a tripod, and in a later video I'll show how to do that. But let's assume we have some land. What we would do for the PEG test is we would set up 2 points about 100 feet apart, and we'll call them P1 and P2. And we'll make them 100 feet apart. So first, we set up our tripod here, about center between them, with the auto level on top. And we do our best to level this on the tripod. Once placed, a lab member would come over to point 1 and stand up and hold the leveling staff. We would then measure on that leveling staff what the elevation of this point is. Okay. We'll call that E1. Okay, well, I'll put that up here as well. Once we have E1, we'll repeat this step, but on this side. Leveling staff comes over here. We look through the auto level. We record a measurement. And we'll call that E2. Once we have a measurement on each end, E1 and E2, we will subtract these two values and take the absolute value. In doing so will get us the change in elevation between these 2 points. And I'm going to call this delta E prime. And I'll explain why in a minute, but just know there will be more than one delta E. Okay. Once we've done this, we have a general idea of what the elevation difference between these 2 points are. This alone doesn't tell us if this is actually calibrated. So what we'll do next is we will take this tripod and move it relatively close to one of my pegs. Once placed close, we'll repeat the same steps. We'll get a measurement this way. We'll call that E1 prime. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Once again, we'll get E2 prime. We will subtract these. And we'll get a delta E prime. I'm going to change this and go ahead and call this one regular delta E, and we'll call this delta E prime. Okay? If this level is properly calibrated, these two values should be exactly the same, because the elevation change between these 2 points hasn't changed in the last 10 minutes, so neither should these two values. However, more than likely, they will be slightly different. And if so, we need to take that into account whenever we're doing future auto leveling practices. Also should note that this should be done a third time, and with the third time you should basically repeat these steps with the tripod near peg 2, and you would end up with E1 double prime, E2 double prime, absolute value, and then you get your change of elevation double prime. Okay? This test is important as a first lab, because A, it introduces you to how to set up the equipment. It also tests whether or not your auto level is going to be giving you accurate results in all future tests. Unfortunately, in our class, we're not going to get a chance to physically handle auto levels and such. So I'll be simply doing this, and I'll be going through the steps of how to set that up and do it physically in my backyard on the next video.